I get every single thing I want. Dates with celebrities, a six-figure salary, 10K followers in a month. I'm living a life beyond my wildest dreams. And I'm not saying any of this to brag, I'm telling this to you because you can do this too. The reason that I get whatever I want is because I am not living in reality. If you were inside of my head, you would be like, is this chick connected to what is going on here on Earth? The answer is no. No, I'm not, and that's why I have the life to show for it. I am constantly bending reality. When my ex-boyfriend and I moved to California 6 years ago, straight out of college, we landed a place right on Santa Monica Beach, 11 streets from the beach. This is one of the most notoriously difficult neighborhoods to number one, get into, and number two, be that close to the beach. By age 26, I was making six figures doing something very niche, writing about my passions, which are beauty and wellness. Reality says that that's not supposed to be possible. Reality says that somebody with a journalism degree, they're pretty much designated to a life of struggling to make ends meet. I manifested an opportunity of freelancing for David Beckham's new wellness company this past year. It came out of nowhere, just like this. I'm constantly defying the odds, and it's because I move through reality as if the rules don't apply to me. I need you to really hear me when I say I'm moving through reality as if the rules don't apply to me. That is the identity from which I am operating from. That is the identity that I exist in. I am the exception to every single rule. Somebody says, oh, you're never gonna meet that person. You're never gonna date a celebrity. I've broken that rule. Society tells us you should only be able to make these linear income jumps. I started out at $42,000 a year as a junior copywriter. I am now making well over six figures. I had a childhood filled with all different kinds of abuse. I am now living my dream life in Los Angeles, California. Manifestation is real. The first thing is I do not have any limits on what I believe is possible, and I am insistent about that. I hold on to that vision until it becomes real. This is something that elite athletes do. This is something Steve Jobs do. They ferociously hold on to that idea. They do not listen to anything that the 3D world is echoing to them about how hard that is, about how impossible that is, about how that's not fair, about how people don't skip the line. And that's why their ideas make it into matter. They become matter. Most people take action, they move through this world based on what they can see. This based on what the 3D world is telling them. The conditions, the limits, the possibilities, what is quote unquote realistic. The reason that I bypass all of this is because I treat the unseen as more real than the seen. I'm treating the unseen, everything happening inside of me, in my mind, more real than everything going on out here. This is essential for you guys to really hear me when I say that. What is happening inside of me is way more important to me, way more real than anything going on outside. Therefore, I act accordingly. I do not wait for proof for anything. My belief forces this world to adjust. My identity forces circumstances to mold to me. Whenever your logic is saying something is not possible, first of all, that's not true. That's a limiting belief. Second of all, your job is to hold the vision even if that is the case. Even if everything is screaming at you that this can't happen, you hold that vision and you hold it with a sense of hopeful expectancy, an open heart. You admit to yourself that this is something you want. Then you move with the assumption that the world will adjust to your energy, not the other way around. I am never seeking permission because I have seen time and time again through empirical evidence that reality adjusts to me. I do not need to adjust to reality. The circumstances mold to me. Reality reflects my inner certainty. And this is something that I feel like you guys can feel too. There's an aura about me that is conveying to you guys, hey, this is somebody who has lived this, and this is somebody who, wherever she is on her journey, it's not the end. You guys can feel from me that my manifestations are going to continue coming in because of who I am. But who I am is not who I was born with. I built this identity, brick by brick, thought by thought, insistent belief upon insistent belief, choice after choice. So many of us, when we're starting out, we feel like reality is fixed, but it's not. Reality is so flexible. This is why living in Delululand is the shortcut to your dream life. If you guys were in my head, you would be like, oh, sorry, what's going on? Even for TikTok, this 1 month result, this happened because for months before I created this account, literally months, I was walking around feeling like, oh my God, what would it feel like to be able to actually bring everything I've learned about manifestation, share it with the world, and have it resonate? What would it feel like to know that I had something to say and that there was an audience here who was wanting to listen? What would it feel like to find a community of people who understood me in a way that my 3D world didn't? All of those earthbound people. What would it feel like to have a whole cohort of community members who are all about mindset, manifestation, positivity? I walked around inundating myself with the feeling of, what would it feel like to have a platform? What would it feel like to actually be building something that was directly tied to my passion? What would it feel like to be listened to be heard? Not only heard, but somebody who was sought after for their insights. I need you to really think about what I'm saying, because if you guys grasp this, your entire reality can change. This is your reality. You make the rules, you make the meaning, and you are the director, the writer, and you can edit your story at any time. I went through a bad breakup last year, about 9-10 months ago. It was a horrible breakup. I decided this is not a breakup. This is my motherfucking breakthrough. This is gonna quantum leap into my next level up. I'm gonna level up so hard, I won't even remember who this guy is. I blocked him, I never looked back. Look what's happened. I am so delusional that literally on my Hinge bio, you know how they have different prompts? There was one that's what's your secret talent? And I literally put aging in reverse. Was that true at the time? Hell no. Is it gonna be true? Hell yeah. And you guys will be able to see I'm manifesting that for the next several years. You guys are gonna be like, oh my God, you're just looking better and better. And it's because I made the decision that I am somebody who's gonna age in reverse. As I get older, I'm only gonna get more beautiful, more successful, more wealthy, more hot, queen-like. You can get whatever you want. Just detach from reality.